Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacqueline. For those of you that are new, welcome. I hope you guys decide to stay. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Make sure you become part of my little YouTube fam. For those of you that have been following me for quite a while now, you guys also followed me on my pregnancy journey, and baby is finally here, you guys. So by the title of this video, you guys will already know that I will be talking to you guys about my labor and delivery experience and how everything just went down to have this little baby right here. And also today I will be revealing my little baby. I haven't fully shown her out there. Let's go ahead and get started with the labor and delivery experience. Okay, where do I begin? So she was born on May 17, 2021, but my contractions started May 16, and that was on a Sunday. My contractions started about 5-6 in the morning. I was already 1 centimeter open when I went to my last doctor's appointment, so it was just, you know, a matter of waiting for her to arrive. And I had already lost my mucus plug a week prior to that, so, you know, I knew she was going to arrive anytime. And so on that Sunday, like I said, I started feeling like somewhat like pain contractions, and I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought it was like one of those, you know, contractions that, well, not contractions, but pains that I had already been feeling. So I was like, whatever. But I couldn't go back to sleep anymore. Every 10 minutes I just kept feeling them, and I'm just like laying in bed like, what? Like, you know, why aren't they going away, you know? I was honestly waiting for my water to break, so I was kind of like, maybe these are like false contractions and I don't want to just go and have to come back, you know? So then I was like, okay, whatever. So freaking mosca, I swear. It hit 9 o'clock. Let's just go to the hospital. I just want to get checked up and see if I am going into labor or like what's going on, because with my first daughter I just experienced my water breaking and going into the hospital because obviously I'm already going into labor, but I didn't know if this was like actual labor or if it was just like those false contractions. We go to the hospital at 9 o'clock, like around 9 o'clock in the morning, and you know, I get checked in and I tell them, hey, you know, I'm here because I feel like I'm probably going into labor now, and you know, I just want to get checked up to see if I'm opening, or like, you know, what's the deal. I went into the back. Once they checked me, they told me that I was 2 centimeters open, and you know, definitely I probably was going into labor, but they couldn't keep me there because I wasn't opened enough for me to be there. So I still had to come back home and, you know, wait it out. So they did keep me there for an hour though, just to see if I was gonna open fast enough so they could just keep me, or if I was just going to, you know, slowly open up and then, you know, eventually go once I couldn't take the pain. I was still 2 centimeters when they checked me again, so I wasn't opening anymore. I was just getting like the pain, like the contractions. They sent me back home. Since this is my second baby, they obviously already looked at like my history. When I had my first daughter, I had a C-section, so they were thinking like, oh, so are you gonna have another C-section? Do you have a C-section scheduled? And I was like, no, like I'm trying to, you know, have a normal delivery if that's possible. That's what my doctor and I had already been discussing, was a normal delivery. And they're really concerned, like they're really picky about that, just because it's really hard to go from C-section to normal delivery. So they told me, you know what, if you still haven't gone into labor by tomorrow, make sure you contact your doctor, have you sign some paperwork where you're basically giving us consent for you to do a VBAC. That's what they call it, a VBAC. So I was like, okay, you know, I'm thinking like in my head, like I don't think I'm gonna make it to tomorrow, but okay. I got home, I was just very uncomfortable, so I just have to wait until like I'm crying in pain. It was probably like around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was just timing my contractions because they were just getting closer and closer together, and in order for me to go back to the hospital, my contractions had to be at least 3 to 5 minutes apart, and you know, I had to be like a really bad pain. So I was just like, okay, let me start timing them, because if they're like getting at least 3 to 5 minutes apart, I'm just gonna go back to the hospital. They were about like 5 minutes apart already. They would go from 3 minutes to 4 minutes to 5 minutes. So I told my husband, like, I don't know if I should go back, because every time I get a contraction, I feel like I'm dying already. I had already watched previous videos on how to manage your breathing every time you get a contraction. So I was just, you know, inhaling and then exhaling every time I would get a contraction, you know, just practicing my breathing so much. It was like about 6-7 o'clock when I told him, you know what, let's just go already. I can't take the pain anymore. I don't think I'll make it to the hospital. Like, I just need to go now. And my whole plan was, once I start my contractions, get to the hospital, and if they did keep me, I wanted the epidural like right away. That was just my like my mentality, my plan was to get the epidural the whole time. I was just like, I did not want to experience any pain. I didn't want to go through the pain. I went from 11 in the morning, well, like 10:30 and 10, like I'm telling you guys, I got discharged like at 10:30. So by the time I got home and stuff, it was like almost 11. So I went from probably like 11 in the morning all the way up until almost 7 in the afternoon with contractions. So I definitely was like, no, like I have to go back to the hospital. And like I felt bad because I'm like, I told my husband, I feel like I really need to go to the hospital now because I'm in so much pain, but I don't want to get sent back home. I told him that's embarrassing to have to go to the hospital because you're in so much pain and then still have to get sent back home. Like that's just, it was the worst. Every single time I had to go in there by myself because it was only one person in the back who was only able to go with me to the back once I was already being, you know, kept at the hospital. So he just dropped me off in the front and I went back in there. I had to register again, and then they took me to the back. Every time that I kept going back, it was like the same nurse every single time, you know, because it was the same shift. So I was like, I'm back, you know, I feel like I just can't take the pain anymore, and you told me to come back when the pain was really bad. So she was like, okay, you know, hopefully, like, you know, you're already opened enough for me to give you that, for us to give you the epidural, and you know, that way you can just relax, and you know, that way you're not in pain anymore. And then I was like, I know, like I'm just in so much pain. I just want the epidural like now. Like if you could give it to me, just give it to me now. Like I cannot stand this pain anymore, and like I feel like I can't take a break, you know. So she was like, yeah, you know, let's check you and hopefully, fingers crossed, you are opened. So she checks me, you guys, and I'm only 3.5 centimeters open. I was gonna die. Then she tells me, you know, the doctor said that in order for us to keep you, you have to be at least at a 5 and for us to be able to give you the epidural. And I was like, what? I'm like, I'm dying at a 3.5 and you want me to open up to a 5? When she told me that, I felt like I'm just gonna die. Like I'm just gonna die because the pain was so bad already. And I'm like, there's no way. I straight up told my nurse, I'm like, there is no way that I'm gonna open up to a 5 and be okay. Like I'm literally going to come back crying. And she was like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's just gonna get worse before it gets better and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, oh my god, like I'm just there like about to cry in the bed because I did not want to go back home. I just wanted to be there and get my epidural, and that's it. Like that's all I wanted. So she did tell me, unfortunately we have to discharge you, but I am going to keep you here for another hour, and if within that hour you still don't open up to a 5, then we are gonna have to send you back home. So I was just like, okay. So she did give me cold water, you know, to get the baby going and see if that would help and stuff. But I was just there in bed, like turning one side, turning to the other. Every time that like I knew the 3 to 5 minutes were going to hit, I was just getting prepared for my breathing. I'm just like, oh my god, anytime now, like my contraction's gonna come in. Oh my god, like I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel this anymore. The hour passed by and she comes in and then she texts me and she's like, yep, you're still there. And then I was just like, no, like oh my god. I'm like, please, can you just talk to the doctor, like something, like I really don't want to go back home. And she's like, I'm so sorry, you know, that's unfortunately that's what we have to follow, blah blah blah. And the reason why was because since I was doing a VBAC, I had to be like in full active labor in order for me to have a normal delivery, because if not, otherwise they said they were just gonna do a C-section, and I definitely did not want a C-section. Like I'm like, nope, I do not want a C-section. I already experienced a C-section and the recovery is horrible. So I'm like, I've heard that, you know, obviously natural births are a lot faster to recover and better. So I'm just like, no, like I want to do a VBAC. I'm gonna stick to a VBAC. So I mean, it is what it is. I've already been handling this pain all day, so might as well just keep going, you know, until like I open up to a 5 and whatever, you know. So she was like, okay. So I had to come back home. It was like around, I think like 9 at night. Yeah, I think it was like 9 at night when they discharged me. And I was just like, okay, like whatever. So I go back home, and then she tells me again the same thing, like, you know, come back if you're bleeding, or if you're this, if you're that, you know, if you're experiencing these symptoms, come back, because maybe that you're already going into like, you're in real active labor, blah blah blah. So I was just like, okay. I called my husband. I'm like, hey, you know, like come pick me up because I'm definitely going back home again. And he was like, really, are you serious? But they don't see that you're in pain. I get discharged, I go back home. It was like around midnight. It was like from 11 to midnight that I was just, oh my god, you guys, I was dying. By this time I feel like I was just like, I didn't even know what to do with myself. Like, I did not know what my body was doing. I mean, obviously I know what my body was doing. It was going into labor, but I felt at the time that I don't even know how to explain the pain. Like, it was so bad, and I just felt so much pressure in the front and on my lower back. The pressure was insane. Like, I feel like it was just so bad that like I kept like squeezing it, like my hands and the bed, and I just kept holding on to things and just squeezing them so bad and breathing and trying not to like get like hysterical or get so much anxiety, because I feel like once I start crying or just get like a lot of anxiety, like I can't breathe, and that was just gonna make it worse. So I'm just like, no, Jackie, like, just remember, like, you're breathing, don't panic, just relax. You know, if you really can't take it, then we're gonna have to go back to the hospital. But do you really want to go back to the hospital, because you might get sent back home? So I'm just there like dealing with my pain, right? Like around midnight to 1 o'clock I went back to the hospital, and I told the nurse, because obviously once I registered again, I told them, I'm back, I've been here, this is the third time, and I'm back because I feel like I cannot take this pain anymore. At that point, you guys, I couldn't even walk anymore. Like, I was walking like a duck. Like I was walking like this, like with my legs open, because I just felt so much pressure everywhere, and I felt like I couldn't even walk. I would get a contraction and I just, oh my god, I just wanted to like push or something. Like, I just felt like the pain was so bad that I didn't even know what to do with myself. And at this point I told him, just leave the car here and walk me over there, because if I get a contraction from here to there walking, I'm gonna fall or something, because they're so bad. I can't even take my body, like I couldn't control my body. So they take me back to the back, and my nurse was there again, and she's like, you're back, Jacqueline, so are you feeling them stronger now? I was like, yes, I'm feeling them stronger. I can't take this pain anymore. I need the epidural like right now. And she's like, okay, let's go ahead and get you in, let's check you and see how far you're opening, you know. I was at a 4. When she tells me that I was at a 4, I just wanted to like, I didn't even know. I felt like my blood just dropped. Like, I just turned pale. Like, I felt like my like a rush, and I'm like, you gotta be effing kidding me right now. How are you gonna tell me that within these like 4 hours, like from like 11, from like 8 to like midnight, I only opened half a centimeter? Because I went from a 1 to a 2 to now you telling me I was a 3.5, to me coming back again and you telling me I'm only a freaking 4. So there I am with my contractions. I'm holding onto the bed every single time I got a contraction. I was holding onto the bed so hard, I felt like I was gonna break it. That's how bad it was. And so the pain was just, at that moment, the pain was like really extremely bad period cramps, that, you know, when you get like a really bad strong one and then it goes away and you're just like, oh, okay, like I'm good now, you know, whatever. But these were not going away, and the pain, the pressure on my back was not going away at all anymore. Like, in the very beginning, it was just like, oh, lightweight cramps, lightweight, you know, pain, and the pressure was going away, whatever. But at this point, I wasn't even getting a break. Like, I was just barely having enough time to settle down a little bit and try to, like, you know, massage my back, because obviously my husband's not there with me, so he's not able to be there to, you know, massage my back and make me feel better. She did tell me, okay, so I'm gonna keep you for another hour, and hopefully you do open from within that hour, you know, we can keep you and finally give you your epidural. I still didn't open up. I was still at a 4, and it was like, okay, you know, you gotta go back home. And I told her, I'm like, because within that hour that I was there, I was in so much pain that I called her in, and I'm like, is there anything, something, just give me something for the pain, because I cannot take this pain anymore. So she did. She was like, yeah, I can give you some meds that, you know, are gonna make you feel a little bit better. She gave me 2 shots on each of my butt cheeks, and oh my god, they hurt so bad. those shots were horrible. On top of contracting, I still had to go through that freaking pain of getting 2 needles in my butt. Probably like not even like 10 minutes after she gave me the medicine, I started feeling really drowsy and just very drugged out. Like my body just, in a way, it relaxed a little bit, and I felt really, really dizzy, lightheaded, and I felt really drugged, like extremely drugged out, like when you're drunk, kind of. I get in the car and I start telling him like, yeah, you know, she gave me this medicine and I'm like really, really dizzy right now, like, but it's making me feel better. I'm like, I feel a little better. I mean, it still hurts, but I feel it was not like I don't feel like I'm dying, but I'm dying, you know? And I did ask the nurse, I'm like, what time does this medicine wear off? Like, in how many hours does it wear off? Because I feel like as soon as this medicine starts wearing off, I'm gonna come back. I'm like, because I'm already not taking the pain. And she was just like, it's gonna wear off like in about 3 to 4 hours. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll be back in about 3 to 4 hours. And she started laughing, and I was like, yeah, because I don't think I'm gonna take the pain after this. Like, there's no way. And then she was just like, okay, Jacqueline, I'll see you here, you know. I got back home like around 2 in the morning, and I laid down and I was able to sleep a little bit, but I wasn't fully sleeping. Like, I was laying down in bed, but like every time I would get a contraction, I would just go like, you know, like I would just practice my breathing, breathe through it, and just be like, okay, it's still not hurting that bad. I mean, it's hurting. It was hurting, but it definitely was not hurting the same. Like, my body got like used to the really, really bad contractions, really bad pain, that now that I had medicine in me and I was just drugged out, I wasn't feeling the contractions like as bad, but they were bad, if that makes sense. When I went to the bathroom, I was already bleeding. Like, I'm like, what? Like, why am I bleeding? Oh my god, like, what the heck? Like, how long have I been bleeding for or something, you know? Like, I'm just there panicking, like, well, one of the things is that if you're bleeding, you gotta come back ASAP to the hospital. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm just not even gonna wait for this medicine to wear off, or even I'm not even gonna wait like the full 3-4 hours as she said, because I'm bleeding. Like, that's not a good sign. I shouldn't even be like bleeding right now, you know? So I wake up my husband, and we left to the hospital like at 4:30. I told him, hey, let's go. Like, I cannot wait. She checked me. And finally, I was at a 6, you guys. Like, I think because my body got relaxed with the pain meds, that I wasn't so tense anymore. And my body finally was able to open, like, you know, contract good enough for me to open up. So she was like, oh my god, yay, you're at a 6. Okay, we're definitely keeping you. Let's go ahead and get everything started. And I was just like, okay, finally, you know, like, finally they're gonna keep me. And I just kept telling her, can I get my epidural now? A couple nurses came in, and one of them started my IV, and then the other one, she drew my blood, and then they did the COVID test on me and everything. So they were like, okay, you know, you can call your husband to come in here, and you know, like, you know, that way he's with you. And I asked one of the nurses that was there with me, I asked her, I'm like, what time am I gonna get the epidural? Because I feel like I'm in so much pain still. Like, I just kept getting, at this point, I feel like I didn't have any more pain meds in me. Like, I felt like everything was just gone, and I was in so much pain that I didn't even know what to do with myself still. I was like, oh my god, the pain is back fully, completely. Like, I am in so much pain, I need something. So I told her, I was like, what time is the doctor gonna come in and give me my epidural, because I'm in so much pain? And then she was just like, well, we have to wait for your test results to come back, and we have to wait for this and this and that, and then finally they're gonna give you your epidural. And I'm just like, and how long does that take? And she was like about an hour. And I'm just there like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, I just want the epidural. I was like, I don't know if I could wait an hour. Can you give me something meanwhile? Like, I'm like in so much pain, I'm dying, I can't take this anymore. And then she was just like, yeah, you know, I can give you something through the IV. And I was just like, okay. So I'm there, like, it was already 5, I don't know, it was probably like almost, like, it was like 5:30ish, like almost 6 o'clock in the morning. She obviously had to check me again just to see how much I was opening and see if I was still at a 6. Obviously they were going to give me, you know, the pain meds through the IV, that way I could wait a little bit longer until I got the epidural. But if I was already too opened, or within that time frame, within like that hour that they did everything, if I was opened up like, you know, enough for me to not get the epidural, then they couldn't give me the pain meds, because then that was going to get the baby sleepy, and it was going to slow the whole process down for me, and I was just going to be in labor longer because the baby wasn't going to be as active or pushing down anymore. So obviously they had to check me down there. So the nurse goes, you know, in there, and she checks me, and she's like, wait a minute. She's like, you're like I think you're like a 9. And I'm just like, what? Like, what do you mean? I was like, I was just at a 6 an hour ago, and you're telling me I opened up 3 centimeters within the hour? And she was just like, yeah, you're at a 9, hon. I cannot give you the epidural anymore. Your baby's literally, like, I can feel her. And I'm just like, oh my God. You guys, the moment that she told me that I was not going to get the epidural because I was at a 9, I felt like my whole world just collapsed. Like, at this point, that's when I just started crying hysterically. I couldn't even breathe. I was feeling a contraction, and it just, because I was already, you know how I'm telling you guys that I was breathing in between my contractions so they wouldn't be as bad, and I just felt like a lot of pressure. So the moment that she tells me that I'm 9 centimeters open and there's no way that she can give me any more pain meds, that I'm just gonna have this baby fully natural, I'm just like, no. I remember I just told her, no, there's no way I'm gonna do this. There's no way. And I'm crying. At this time, I'm just crying. I'm just like, no. There's no way that I'm gonna do this. There's no way that I'm gonna be able to push this baby out. I'm looking at my husband like, no, there's no way. I'm not doing this. I'm like, I want my epidural. I want it right now. And she's like, no, I cannot give it to you. I'm sorry. We cannot give you the epidural. We cannot give you any payments through the IV because it's gonna make your baby sleepy, and you're gonna be contracting a lot longer because your baby wants to come out and meet you now. And I'm just like, no. I'm like, no, please just give me the epidural. I can't do this. This is gonna hurt really bad. Like, I cannot do this. I cannot push this baby out naturally. Like, I can't. And my husband's just there like, calm down, you're strong, you got this. You know, he's being very supportive. And I'm just like, that's because you don't understand what I'm going through. I was just like, no, like, I cannot. I was shaking like a wet puppy. I'm just in bed like, no, I can't do this, you know. And obviously, you know, I wasn't able to film anything for you guys because I didn't know how long I was going to be in labor for. And so I'm just like, no, I don't think I should start recording now because, you know, I'm probably not like in labor yet. And throughout the whole time, I'm just like thinking, no, I think I'm just gonna start it once I'm like, you know, actually, like, I'm actually staying at the hospital. That way I don't have to be like recording every time I keep coming back home, you know. So I'm telling you guys, the moment that they kept me there, it was almost 5 in the morning when they kept me there. And then within the hour, that's when I opened up to a 9, and everything just happened so fast. Like, I felt like all these nurses came inside, and I have one doing the IV on this side, I have the other one drawing blood on this hand, and I'm just like this, and my husband's coming in, like, he's walking in, and I'm just like in pain, and I had no idea where my phone was at this moment. I didn't even have the brain to bring my camera with me because I was in so much pain. So I felt like my husband was just more worried about me at that moment, and he was just like in the moment that I also didn't even have like the mind to tell him, hey, take out your phone and record. Like, it wasn't in me. Like, I was like, labor was just something else, honestly. I'm just there panicking, you guys, and I got a contraction in between my panic mode that I was avoiding throughout the whole time. I got a contraction, and it was the worst contraction ever because I felt like my body was breaking. Like, I just felt my body, my bones, everything just breaking. Like, I had no control over what my body was doing anymore. It was horrible. So I would recommend that if you're going into labor and you're having contractions, make sure that you do your breathing even though you feel like you can't breathe, and even though it's very painful to breathe through the contraction, I really recommend to do it because it helped me a lot to control myself and control me, just going crazy. And It also helped me a lot to not feel the pain as bad, because when I'm telling you guys that when I was in that panic mode, when they told me that I was going to deliver this baby naturally with no epidural, with no pain meds, nothing, just like that, I had that contraction where I'm telling you guys, I felt like my whole body was just breaking. So much pressure everywhere. I had anxiety, I was crying, I wasn't breathing well. It was just a hot mess. Then the doctor comes in, he's putting all his things in, and I'm like, oh my god, like I'm just panicking even more, because I'm just like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to push this baby out anytime, and I am not ready to push this baby out. Like I am not ready. I'm not ready. Like my brain was just telling me, no, you can't do this, you can't do this. And I'm just like, how in the heck am I gonna push this baby out? Like, how am I gonna push this baby out? There's no way. The doctor comes in and checks me, and he feels that my water bag is still there. So obviously they had to, they had to rip my water. As soon as like they broke my water, I was just like, oh my god. I started feeling like intense, extremely intense pressure down there that I can't even explain to you guys. It was just so much force that I was feeling there. I could just feel her just pushing her weight down. Honestly, I feel like if my water would have broke, it would have been a way faster delivery. I wouldn't have been in so much pain, because I feel like she was fighting to break that water, and she was just fighting to come out, that I was just contracting, but I wasn't opening because my water wasn't broken yet. I feel like at the moment that it broke, that's when like finally she was able to push her way out, because she had been pushing her way out, but she just couldn't come out because she was still, inside the bag of water. My bag of water was leaking already, but I honestly wasn't even feeling anything, because I was just more focused on the pain than anything else. I told the nurse, I don't think I could wait to open up to a 10. I need to push now, like right now. I feel like the next contraction that I get, I feel like I need to just push. So my husband was like, yeah, she's ready to push. And then I was like, okay. So my nurse, she walked me through the whole process. She was just like, okay, I'm gonna count from 1 to 10, and I need you to hold your breath and push with between 1 to 10. And I was just like, okay. And she's like, we're gonna do that 3 times in a row, and then we're gonna do it again as soon as your next contraction starts. Then we're gonna do the same thing over it again. And I was just like, okay. And I'm thinking like, I'm not ready to push. Like in my head, I was like, I can't do this. But I'm like, I have to, because in order for me to feel better, I need to have this baby, So I was just like, okay, I could do this. So finally my contraction was coming, and I could feel it, and I was like, okay, the contraction's coming. Okay, what do we do again? So she was like, okay, hold your legs. So they have me holding my legs, and then my husband's holding my other leg, and then the nurse is helping me hold my other leg, and I'm also holding my own legs. And then she was just like, okay, breathe in. So there I am breathing in, and then she was just like, okay, now push. She was like, okay, I need you to push, but like with your bottoms, not with with your face expressions. Like, you're putting too much force up here, you need to put force down there. So I was just like, okay. I felt like she was taking forever to get to 10, you guys. I felt like I just needed to let go, and I couldn't continue with I felt like I couldn't wait for her to like get to 10. Like I just needed to let go like at 5 seconds. But I'm like, no, Jackie, just hold it, keep pushing, wait for her to get to 10. Like I kind of got the hang of it with the first set, because like I obviously didn't know how to push the baby out with the first try. So I'm thinking like, okay, the second try I'll be able to do it now, The next contraction came, and honestly, you guys, I felt like it was gonna hurt really, really bad for me to push when I was having a contraction. But I felt like such a relief every time that I would get a contraction and I would push through it. I feel like I wasn't feeling the contraction at all, but I was feeling the whole pressure on the bottom. So it wasn't like painful until it got to the second set. When I was in the middle of the contraction doing the second set, breathing in, that's when it was hurting really, really bad, because I was breathing in the pain and getting ready to push again. So I had to get the strength to go through the pain, inhale through the pain, and then push again. I literally pushed her out within 12 minutes. When I did the last set to push out, then that's when like I felt like extreme pressure. And then that's when I heard the nurse say, okay, her head is out. And I was like, what? And then I did one more push, and then that's when like her whole body came out. and I was in extreme shock because I was feeling like within me, since obviously you can't really see anything going down there, you're only focusing on pushing the baby out. I felt like it just went by so fast, like so fast. I didn't, like, within me, I told my husband, I was like, I honestly felt like I wasn't even making any progress. Like, I felt like she wasn't coming out at all, and I was just pushing and pushing, and she wasn't coming out. And then boom, she's out. So I'm just like, what in the world? Like, she's already out? Like, you're telling me I literally already pushed her out? So yeah, you guys, then I just hear her little cry, and I was just like, what? I did it. Like within like me, I felt like so much relief, because I was like, oh my god, like I did this, like I actually did this. And I started crying, and then, you know, obviously my husband was just like breathing in the moment, and he says he wasn't crying, but I know he was crying. I could see his little teary eyes. But he's one of those that, I'm not crying, but he definitely was crying. And then, you know, they went to clean her up for me really fast. You know, we did like the whole skin to skin thing, and I was just like the best experience. Well, not the best experience, it was horrible, but once she was out, it just, the rest was just like so perfect. You know, obviously they, you know, I had to wait for them to clean me up and finish doing everything. So yeah, basically all they did was just, you know, take the placenta out and, you know, clean up right there. She did cut me though, so she did rip. I did rip about like, I got like about 2 stitches. So yeah, that was the only thing. But honestly, I didn't even feel like she ripped me. Like, I feel like because I was just in so much pain and just trying to get her out, that when she was finally out, I didn't even feel her rip me. Once I saw the doctor like sewing down there, I was just like, wait, she ripped me? And then he was like, yeah. And I was like, is it bad? And I was like, was it a lot? Like, I was just there like laying in the bed like, is it a lot? Was it bad? Like, how bad is it? Like, how much is it? You know, like, I'm all worried. And he was like, it's not that bad, it's only 2. And I was just like, only 2? And then he was like, yeah. He's like, this is not that bad. And I was just like, okay. I was in labor for 24 hours because I literally started contracting from like 6 in the morning around there till like the next day on Monday at 6 in the morning was when she was born, at 6:35. So I was just like throughout those whole 24 hours in a lot of pain. I do have a couple clips of me at the hospital, so I will be inserting them just because I want you guys to kind of have somewhat the experience that I had at the hospital, but I didn't really record. Let me tell you guys, it was an experience. And yeah, we'll be going into all the details. I just wanted to get like a little clip of us at the hospital. She was born May 17, 21 at 6:35 in the morning. And my mouth has been so dry. I've been drinking a lot of water and fluids and stuff, but I'm so tired. I feel like I need to get like a good sleep for me to be able to you know, get back into my routine and stuff. But slowly but surely, I will also be doing her name reveal today. They should be discharging us today. They were gonna discharge us tomorrow. So I was going to be here for 2 days, well, basically like 3 days, but I want to leave today because I just want to be home with my daughter. I miss her as well, and you know, I want her to meet baby sister and stuff. So we'll see how that goes, and I'm probably going to shower right now when my husband gets here, because I'm just waiting for him to get here so we can eat something, and then I'm probably gonna get in the shower and change and get ready to go home. So we'll see how that goes, you guys. But yeah, look at my little baby. She's sleeping. Look at her. Anyways, guys, I'll see you guys later. It's been 2 weeks now. I know that you guys probably have been waiting for this video, but I just been so tired and just trying to get used to like the whole mom life again, and you know, just getting used to her sleeping schedule and just everything in general, you know, just getting used to it was definitely something that I did not expect, because I just remember telling everybody how bad and how much I was going to get the epidural, because there was no way I was going to have a baby normally with no, you know, with no epidural. And that did not happen, and I did it and I survived. And honestly, I feel like even now, if I was to have another baby, I feel like I would still want the epidural, because at that moment that you're in pain, you just don't want to be in pain, like at that moment. But I feel like, honestly, now that I think about it, I'm like, but I did it, so I feel like I could do it again. If we were to have another baby, I feel like I would want to hold it and do it again, because I did it already, but I don't want to do it. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. She was 5.1 pounds and she was 16 1/4 long. So definitely she was very, very, very small. And this is preemie. She still is fitting in her little preemie clothes. So yeah, you guys, I definitely do have small little babies, but even though she was little, she still hurt really, really bad. Let me introduce you guys to my little baby, because I feel like this whole time you guys just been like, so when are you gonna introduce her, you know? So meet baby Eileen. So we finally, I feel like we were in between a lot of names. The nurse was like, okay, so what's her name going to be? And I'm looking at him and he's looking at me, and I have the baby in my chest, and I'm just like, yeah, what is her name going to be, you know? And then he was like, well, what name do you want it to be? And then I was like, well, I really like Eileen. And then he was just like, yeah, that I like that one, just put that one on her. And I was just like, okay. So basically it was kind of like more like I got to pick her name. So yeah, meet baby Eileen. And let me turn her around. My little baby, my little princess, my little baby with her little toes, Look at you, my little baby. Oh, okay, say hi. Obviously she can't talk, but look at her, she's so cute. Everybody says that she looks like my daughter when she was born. Say bye. Look at you. So yeah, you guys, that was it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed my labor and delivery experience. And yeah, if you guys have any more questions, make sure you guys let me know in the comments down below. Anything that you guys want to know that I didn't fully go into or want to know more about, let me know and I will do a separate video for you guys. So don't forget to subscribe and become part of the little YouTube family. We have a new member. Look at her. I'm enjoying her so much because she's only going to be this little once, and I'm not gonna be able to hold her like this. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I appreciate everybody that already supports me. I will see you guys on my next video. Bye guys. Bye princess.